Avinash, Himakshi here again. So, Avinash, there's a key management update. The company has appointed Anshul Asawa as MD and CEO. So, how are you viewing this development from a fundamental standpoint?
No, I think, my sense is that whenever a new CEO or MD comes in, the markets would obviously like to give him some time before he settles down, outlines his strategy. And I think D-Mart is a very solid business. So probably, after the March quarter, we could see some, kind of operational changes or some strategic kind of, decisions taken. But net, I think, markets are not going to give it immediate thumbs up purely on this appointment. I think markets would be more happy to know what are the data points, what is the management thinking on the outlook in terms of demand for the fourth quarter, and overall will this growth which has been recorded in the third quarter, whether it's going to be sustained. I think sustainability is going to be more important. As the management points out a very strong kind of commentary that clearly would show the confidence of the management, and that is something which will play the narrative at least for the next 3-4 months, and then of course numbers have to do the talking once we release the fourth quarter numbers.
And finally, now that the numbers are out, so what's your stance on the valuation? Is this the current, is the current reaction justified? Is it a buy, hold or a trim from a fundamental perspective? And do you think that it's a good time to take fresh positions in the counter if the investor is eyeing for this?
I think valuations, for D-Mart have always been a little difficult on a fundamental basis because last Friday the stock closed at 3,800. The valuations even at this level are around 90 times. So, my sense is that in case of a company like D-Mart, you're going to look at the next 2 years, at least next 2 to 3 years. It won't be possible to justify this multiple over the next 6 to 12 months. So I think hopefully if the volume growth kicks in and possibly if numbers are much better than FY26, then I think, stock had touched a high of almost 4,900, sorry. So we could see levels of at least, 3,900 or maybe 4,000 in the near term. But I think going forward, we'll have to observe the company on a quarter-to-quarter basis. So we are structurally positive. But my sense is that, on Monday, if the stock goes up to roughly 39.50 onwards, then I think it's better to hold. Rather than, buying immediately. I think maybe a lower level could give a better comfort in terms of valuation.
Okay, thank you so much, Avinash, for joining us on the show today and breaking down those numbers for our viewers and what the investors must be eyeing out on Monday. Thank you so much for joining us once again.